So I woke up this morning, me and my crazy hair and my fluffy beard. Oh, still feeling like I haven't completely woken up. And I decided to come up to the workshop this morning because on my Facebook channel, my Facebook group, I was chatting to a guy called John Lopez, who runs a fantastic YouTube channel called Bushcraft Baking. So if you ever get 5 minutes, go and check that guy out because he's brilliant. And we were discussing canteen cup lids. So this is one that I've made to fit a Crusader Mark 1 cup lid. Crusader Mark 1 cup. But he actually has the Mark 2. So I got myself one of these. And what I plan to do is, I've got various different bits of stainless steel and aluminium. I'm going to have a bit of a fart about this morning and see what I can come up with in regards to a lid, specifically for his Mark 2 cup. And really, I'm going to start off with making a template first. And this is a template I made for the Mark 1. It's not an exact fit. It's a millimetre or so, you know, kind of bigger widthways and lengthways. And that then I put into a clamp and go around with a hammer then and sort of dress all the edges round. So I'm going to take you through as much as I can, as step by step. I've got a really nice tripod, but it's in the car, so you're actually mounted today on a £3 tripod, which is horrific, but we'll do our best. We'll do our best to get this sorted for you. So I'm going to try and show you, like I said, a step by step. My original canteen lid was actually made out of an old ex-army mess tin. It was made out of the bottom. I used a section of this then for the handle, and also a section of this to hold the handle on, and a small bit of the side piece then is like the clasp. So that there being the clasp, the rivet I made there with a section of the handle, and there's a bit of the handle. So as you can see, it's, you know, not exactly perfect, but this is, you know, something functional as opposed to something pretty. So there was the original lid I made. I've made sort of 3 or 4 others since then. I've still got a couple to make for people. But like I said, today's one is going to be for John Lopez. So John Lopez, hope you're watching, buddy. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so first things first, I've got a piece of Iroko here as a template. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the cup on there. Okay, and I'm going to mark around the cup. Now, I am a bit concerned that this Iroko, the grain of it might be a little bit brittle. So as I'm using it then, it's a template then to hammer on later, it may actually split. So if that's the case, and that does happen, what I'm looking to do then is to cut 2 pieces of Iroko, grain running this way. I'll cut one with the grain running this way, and then one with the grain running this way. Glue the 2 pieces together, and hopefully then what you should find is the difference in grain will start to support each other. You know, where one's weaker one side, you'll have the other bit glued to it, which is stronger the other way. So I'm going to run the bandsaw up. I'm going to cut this for you. But I'm going to make it really, you know, really clear that I'm only using this because it's here and I've got it. You know, you could use a jigsaw. You know, really you could use a coping saw. Sort of do it all by hand, but you know, I'm going to use the bandsaw just because I've got it. So first things first, this is a 1.25 inch thick blade. So to cut these sort of curves at the bottom, you know, really the blade's a little bit too thick, but you know, at the end of the day, I'll just have to kind of cut it in, you know, multiple bites. So as you can see, I hope it shows up well enough. The pencil mark I've kind of left in certain places and cut just, you know, around it, just to create that sort of extra little bit of slack then to, you know, make sure it fits snug, but it's not too tight, because as I hit the metal, the the idea is some of this will start to bend over, which makes the cup ever so slightly, fractionally smaller. So next thing to do then is just pop you over onto the belt sander, and then just tidy this up a little bit. But again, you know, I'll make it very clear that you don't have to use sort of power tools. Like I said, the reason I'm using them is purely because they're here. If they weren't here, then I'd be using, you know, just hand tools and a bit of hand sandpaper and stuff like that. So. Okay, so at this stage now, we've got our wooden template cut, and I've cut in a section off of a stainless steel kick plate for a door. Now this seems quite tough, but I'm not actually sure how to anneal stainless to make it any softer, so we'll try this. If not, I have got some aluminium as a backup, so let's see how we get on. So, covered in this blue protective film, and I'm just going to attempt then to score and mark through this blue protective film. Ooh, sorry. Okay, so I've got just about enough of a line to work to. Okay, but I want to come away from this line somewhere in the region about 8mm, I suppose. So we're just going to attempt then just to fill that in by hand. Again, I've done it before with different spacers and, you know, stuff like that, but really for what we're doing, we're going to be grinding it back and cleaning up all the edge after anyway, so it hasn't got to be, you know, exactly perfect. We're just looking for that nice sort of bit of overhang there, and then like I said, the last sort of, you know, the last process is then we can start to make that sort of more of a uniform sort of overhang. I've done a couple where one particular corners ended up slightly shorter than the rest, which the people I made them for, no one's actually noticed, but you know, I found it quite frustrating when I did it, and that was all because I didn't fix you know, the offcut of metal. I didn't fix it to the template, sort of quite square. Right, so I hope you can see that now. That's all just sort of scribed into the blue surface. So we'll take it over to the little bandsaw then, and we'll get it all trimmed up. Right, so it's already happened once, just a little tester, but this stainless is actually really bloody strong, and I'm starting to wonder whether it's going to be usable without sort of annealing it, and find out how to do that. So it's just pulled the blade off the bandsaw again, so I'm going to attempt now to go around with kind of an angle grinder, which is not going to be pretty, but you know, let's see how we get on. All trial and error, I suppose, eh? That's a whole blade that's just eaten there. Whole brand new blade. Let's go back to a proper steel blade. All these multi-cut blades, absolute rubbish. Done. So Ain't the prettiest thing in the world, but I'm just going to go around now on the belt sander and just take all the burrs and stuff like that off. So come on. Right, so I've got said blank cut out now. Next stage is to mark up roughly where I believe the handle to be in the centre. Drill that out then and mount it to the mount it to the former and sort of see how we get on that way. I got to be honest, I think this stuff's too thick. I'm starting to wonder whether I should just give up the ghost now. I'm starting to wonder whether I should give up on this one now. It's just a bit tough and a bit too thick, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, I suppose. So come on, let's plod on regardless. So now at this stage, just screw in a piece of stainless now to the template, and then the real fun part can begin. Just got to try and then bend all of this around then to meet this side template. So let's see how we get on. This stainless, as it stands, is just far too hard. So to be cold form like this, as fast as I'm pushing one side down, the other side's springing up and blah blah blah. So I think for 5 minutes, until I've done some more research on the idea of best way to cold form this stainless, the best idea is just to go back to aluminium. So what we're going to do now is you'll lose me for a few minutes. We'll come back to exactly the same stage then with an aluminium piece and see how we go there. So like I said, I'm not giving up on the idea, but I just need to find a way to make this stainless softer. And it's only 0.7 mil. You know, when I picked this up, I was really concerned that it was going to be too thin and too flimsy. But you can see where I've been hitting it already to form this edge, the whole thing's got a dip and a bow and a bit of a twist in it. And you deserve better than that, Johnny boy. So yeah, give me a minute and I'll be back to you now. GoPro, stop recording video. Right, so I'm back at the same stage now. I've cut a new aluminium piece, which I know was softer because it would let me cut it on the small bandsaw over there. What I've done is I just screwed it in place to this template, and I'm just looking for something fairly uniform. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as I've got a decent amount of overhang on each side. And what we'll do now is we'll stick this one back in the vise. We'll go for round 2. There we go. Right, we're pretty much all the way round. There we go, all the beaten edge on it. Looks a bit ugly, doesn't it? So what I'll do now is just spend a little bit of time. You can see it's quite crinkly. Just want to dress that as best I can. And like I said, it's strange. You know, where it's been cold rolled, always get these kind of differences in the thickness. But I'm quite happy with that, because in reality, that's probably about where the lip of the cup's going to finish anyway. So you know, like I said, in reality, I'm quite happy with that, but it always just kind of strikes me why it does that. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that, to be honest. So before we go too much further, it's time to pull it off and just make sure that, like I said to you, that rounded edge it's kind of created in the aluminium is not too much of a round now to make it fit, because I have done that before where it's been ever so slightly too small. And do you know what? When it's at that stage, there ain't no going back, unfortunately. I messed around with it for ages and nothing worked. Right. Oh, look at that, you beauty. No rattling, no moving around. Ah, minimal. I'm happy with that. Right, so it's time to clean it up, get it polished up, you know, and show you the final article. So just marked up this pencil mark here around this lip. As you can see, it's just perfectly catching the low spot. You know, in other places then there's quite a lot of material. Again, this low spot here is just perfectly catching that low spot. So that should, in theory, I mean, I'm happy with that low spot in regards to the lip overhang. So it should be absolutely fine. Right, I'm going to go and sand and clean and cut all this back. It's going to take some while, so I'm going to drag you through the whole process, you poor buggers. Right, catch you in a minute. GoPro, stop recording video. Whew, this is by far the hardest bit. It's just removing this burr from the inside of the cup edge, you know, where he formed it over. Tried various different ways to avoid having it in the first place, but it's almost impossible. So just the last couple of little high spots before I start sort of finishing it or anything. I just want to go over some of these high spots now, just to, you know, just make it look a little bit neater. Like it hasn't been just cobbled together. Ain't bad actually. Right, so we're at the next stage now, which is just polishing it. Right, so, like I said, I'm at the polishing stage now. This one hasn't turned out too bad. Usually I've been making them out of old ratty mess tins and stuff like that, and they look like crap. Whereas this one being a, you know, half decent bit of kick plate for a door, you know, it's not that bad. So we're just going to go around, like I said, these edges and polish that, you know. It's literally all I'm doing. Now I don't use the belt sander much for this stage because it can be a bit too aggressive, but I'm just going to give it a tickle over with the belt sander just to take some of the worst off it. But you can see already that's starting to come up a lot better, and I'll just go down through the grades then just to bring it back to a cleaner, you know, cleaner finish. Right, so there you go, we've got the completed. Just giving it a bit of a clean up. It's not perfect around the edges because I wanted to, you know, leave it with a bit of a sort of handmade-y, sort of rustic finish. Drops on top, Now this one I didn't put any holes in for drainers, because the gentleman this is meant for, his group is called Bushcraft Baking, so I was kind of assuming that, you know, with it being a complete solid top, there'll be plenty of space in to keep all that heat in for, you know, baking bannocks and stuff like that. So there we go, John. Get in touch, buddy. Send us your postal details, and I'll get that straight out in the post to you, mate. Hope you're going to enjoy using it as much as I've enjoyed making it, mate. It's been yeah, it's been great. So the nut and bolt I put through here for you to hold the little handle in place, that's all stainless. Alright, mate, so you shouldn't get any problems with any rusting or anything like that. Contaminating your food, you shouldn't get any of that. So apparently all this, that's what I purchased it as, that's what I paid for. It's all supposed to be nice, good quality stainless steel. So if you get any problems, buddy, let us know. Well, there you go. There you have it.